Could you briefly talk about your like business and actually how your shin pads are different from actually what's on the market?
Long story short, played a bit of football myself. Got out there, was wearing things like this and things like that, and they were shifting and moving and going all over the place, and I was getting kicked to death. So I decided to go and look at what obviously is available in the market, and started my own R&D and research and development, looking at the game, looking at what happens with shin guards, the movements of the shin guards, and I ended up making my own first set of guards using styrofoam that you would get off the curlers, or I would be using styrofoam that you would use in between for what do you call it, the mobile phones. And I started to use that and made them into different shapes and sizes. And then eventually I met up with a friend who's a designer, and I gave her my vision of what I wanted to see in a particular pair of shin guards. And we went through that over quite a number of years of looking at the design, the shape of that design. And it took nearly 5 years of R&D looking at the different types of foams that are available in the marketplace. I wanted something that wasn't a hard shell like the Self. I was looking at something that would be comfortable on the back. I was looking at something fundamentally that addresses the issues in the game of movement during match play and from when you get tackled. So in my opinion at the time, what's the point of wearing something that's supposed to protect you when you're playing? Someone hits you, it shifts the guard off the actual area that you're protecting, and you end up getting hurt. And no one seems to address that or to have looked at it. You know, they've moved on. You would get a sock with a little pocket on it, and you would put that in, but it still allows movability because you're still wearing it as a one piece on that little pocket, and any movement, it's going to twist and turn the guard itself. I mean, I'll give you an example. You know, this is what you currently have as a sleeve that you buy in the marketplace, and if you put that on, as you can see, you put that on, it's very tight at the top and very tight at the bottom, and it's very tight here. But the issue, once you put it in, on an impact, it still moves, right? It goes up and it goes down and it pushes from sideways. If someone comes at you this way, that will push over. So these are the things that I was trying to address. And I eventually came up with the product using existing available EVA foams. We finally came up with this particular design. As you can see, it's fundamentally very, very different from what's available in the marketplace, because shin guards in general have been more or less this shape for the last 20 years. You know, you might get a little corner cut off, you might get this, but fundamentally you see a lot of changes on the design, but the actual shell itself has not shifted very much. So you can see the difference with what we've got here.
Yours is a lot smaller in length, and so, you know, as a grown up, you know, I'm like just a shade over 6 foot. You know, is it kind of something that I would wear, or you know?
Well, the reason for this particular size was obviously my target market are grassroots, right? So and at the time when I came into the development of this product, a lot of the pro players and the professionals and senior players were starting to wear smaller shin guards. So it was basically out of the scale of the economy, really, in terms of, you know, production, everything, that I made this. This is a standard size shin guards that you would probably classify as a small adult, but for a child, this would would fit nicely. It
Yeah.
would become like a full-size guard or a three-quarter size guard. I mean, I've had children as young as 5 wearing these, and then it basically more or less covers the whole chin. And as you go older, obviously, you know, there's a lot more space. But fundamentally, when you wear the shin guards, and I'll demonstrate here in a minute, the shin guards you shouldn't be wearing it up here. You should be wearing it further down, just above the ankle area, right? And because those are the areas where you tend to, as an adult, will get tackled and get hit at. Because if someone coming up at you like that, you'll see that foot coming, right, and you'll jump out of the way. But if you get hit, it's generally I would say probably about 3 inches, that lower ankle area, lower shin area that covers. So in theory, and because of the trend of a lot of adults are starting to wear smaller guards, then this is the appropriate size. I mean, a slightly larger size is something that I'm considering for the adult market as well. But obviously that will come a little bit later on. But going back to the actual product itself, as you can see, the thickness of this compared to current ones that are in the market, as you can see. Whoops, where is it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it.
These by measuring these ones, you're talking about, this is the thickness there is, where is it? Is about 9 mil. And this is about 8 mil, right?
Okay.
Ours is 5.5.
Okay.
So we've addressed the issue of the product being lightweight, and that will cover for everyone. Because if you're wearing something heavy and bulky, you're going to feel it, right? It's not going to be comfortable. The beauty about this and the technology that's gone into the design, the development of this, makes this probably one of the lightest product in the market. Perhaps maybe carbon fiber would be probably on a similar weight, but the carbon fiber do tend to be far more expensive if you're going to go and make a purchase. So if you look at this, you look at this, there's 5 elements in this guard, right? You've got the outer shell, then behind the outer shell, underneath that is a layer of foam like this, right? EVA foam, but it's a better quality. It's an absorbent foam as opposed to a standard foam that they have here, which is a higher density. And then underneath that, forgetting about the velveteen material, underneath that, then we have a layer, a nylon sheet underneath that acts like a trampoline. And then on the back of that, then we would then have a harder foam base behind that, and then another section of the softer foam. And then at the very back of that, you've got the Velcro. And
Okay.
this is different from anything else that you see in the market, right? And the way it's designed, you can see there are channels on the back of it. There's little vent holes. And then just going back to the front of the shell, this is a polyethylene shell that, you hear that? To all parents, adults, that's the noise you want to hear, because you look at something, you think it's solid, it's great, it's going to work. Psychologically, that's going to protect me. But once again, back to previously what I said, if it breaks, you're in a lot of trouble, right? Because that force will go up and down the shell. So we looked at the polyethylene shell because you can do this with a guard.
Okay.
Sorry, there you go.
Yeah.
Right, that's the only movement you can get from it, right? Look at the difference.
So
right?
literally, what you're saying is that if you get hit with the Armour Flex, it will absorb the impact better than what you see.
Correct. Because we've allowed to have the foam underneath the shell, and underneath that is another layer where which we call a nylon mesh, which then sits in between. So as you can see, if you get hit, it pushes it back out, right? It repels it and it pushes it back out, right?
Yeah.
And that acts sort of like a trampoline process. But the thing is, we went through, as I said earlier, 5.5 years of R&D to get to this product, because we had to trial it with different shells, with different foams, and every time we did that, we took it to the BS standards people, because you have to pass the British standard, which is the international standard for impact protection for shin guards, and it's called the BS 13061-2, and that means that this product is subjected to in a room where it's in a controlled humidity condition. This thing is wrapped around an anvil, and then a steel rod, which is about this thick and about I would say probably about 1.5 meters, 2 meters long. It's dropped from a height of about between 9 and 10 feet up from the machine, and then it hits onto that shell. If that shell is penetrated, it's a fail. If it doesn't go through to the other side, it's a pass. So we did this for almost 5 years before we finally found a product that actually took the weight. And the passing criteria for which they base it on a plastic shell, is it's got to be able to take a 2,000-pound blunt impact hit, right? Like that. And also from a shearing and slicing. This can take 2,700 pounds blunt impact hit and shearing. So we've exceeded the standard and yet we've managed to have a product which is lighter than current products available in the market. It addresses the issue of sweat retention causing skin irritation. And then you may ask, how does this product stay up? And I mentioned to you, it's got a Velcro back to it. And this piece, as you can see, is our sleeve, right? It's made out of acrylic, nylon, and various other products in that makes this a very soft touch material that basically absorbs the sweat, and then it addresses those issues, right? So what you would do is that you would put this on, right? And then before you wear this, you would pre-shape it, right? Fold it along the channels, right? Get it into that shape. And then what you would do is that you would then, can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that.
You would then place it on where the shin is, because people tend to put the shin pad straight. You should be wearing it slightly off center, so that the actual shell itself should be covering this part of the bone of the shin itself, right? And once you've done that, you wrap it around, right? And I'll show you on the other foot. As you can see, I have then put the match socks over it, right? See that? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And once you put that over it, look, I'm pushing at this. There's hardly any movement compared to what you saw before, right?
Okay.
Right. And once it's secured like this, it will not shift. It will not move during match play. It will not shift during a tackle. So that's what makes our product different.
Okay. I've got a quick comment. And literally, I will say from the get go, I am not a fan of like slip-ons to go over my shin pads and then put my socks on. I just feel that it's kind of something that kind of irritates me. I mean, what like would you say to players that may not want to wear the sleeve with the shin pads?
Well, the difference is also, if they wear the sleeve, right? The sleeve, it has a breathable mesh at the back of it. The front, it's very lightweight material, and it absorbs all the sweat from
We
you.
can't see the
It's same
sleeve.
as-
I can't.
yeah.
I can't see the like sleeve.
Oh.
I don't know if you're doing a demonstration. I'm not too sure if you're.
Sorry. Yeah. So if you take this off, see the sleeve itself, right? You see, there's almost like a see-through section back here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the breathability of it, right? The outside of it, when you put this particular thing on, it's so light and it's so comfortable. It doesn't feel like you're actually wearing another pair of socks, right?
Okay.
Right. And the difference is that what I'm saying is, with what you buy in the market with these, right? This is made out of a nylon material. And the way they've designed it, you've got a tighter end and a wider end for the top part of your calf, and these elastication are very, very tight. First of all, once it's gripped the top of you could start to have blood circulation issues with your leg, and then it's very difficult to put the guard itself inside of it. And this to the skin, when it's wet, it just accumulates the sweat, and it doesn't go anywhere. With our soft touch item here, it just absorbs it all, right? And it's just retained in that particular area. And then when you take it off, it's easy to take off, and it's comfortable. That's the main thing, right? It's all about comfort.
Yeah, it's true. Okay.
Yeah.
And again,
I mean, you've had a pair. Have you managed?
Yeah,
to, what are your thoughts?
I think what it is I'm so used to wearing like the normal shin pads. Of course, it kind of took me time to kind of get used to the smaller sized shin pads. However, they do fit really, really well. And I must admit they are like very light. So, and kind of subconsciously, I'm always looking down to actually see if I'm actually wearing them. Touch wood, I've not been hitting the shin. So, long, like may that continue. I kind of find them really, really, really comfortable. But again, 100%, I personally do not wear the sleeve, but it's something that I may have to just try again, and just kind of, again, it's probably just kind of changing my mindset.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing, because generally, the trends, again, how players say, it's all about the lightness of that product, right? Hence the reason why people are making the boots a lot thinner, a lot lighter, and they're using everything. It's all about the speed. So this is also something that once you wear it and you put it on, it's not going to be bulky. It's not going to hinder anything. It's going to stay in place while you're playing, and also when you get a tackle, which then psychologically frees you up as an individual to just play, flow, right? And not worry about that tackle coming in, and then that shin guard's going to be around the back of your calf, right? So that gives you an individual, so Christ, I'm going to get a knock. These things are going to stay there. That makes you play a little better. And that is something that I have noticed quite a lot, especially, again, back in the grassroots market. You get a young lad who's wearing a standard pair of guards and stuff. Hey, he's fiddling around with it. He's not comfortable. He's moaning at his mum or dad who's trying to put the thing on for him. These a 5-year-old can put on by himself. And I've got some videos which I'll send through to you, or I may have already, that you've got a 5 up to 10-year-old groups, boys and girls, actually putting these things on themselves. So it's that easy. So it's all about building confidence. And if you've got a young child who's got that bit of talent, he goes out there, he's fiddling around, he gets hit, goes back, he doesn't want to play football anymore. And it's a shame, because you don't know where that child might end up. Yeah. So with this, we hope to be able to change the mindset and the psychology of the coaches and the mums and dads, especially mum and dads, because they tend to go out and want to get a pair of shin guards which are this size for a 10-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Which doesn't actually work. So the also back to what you said, because the shelf life on this, I would say probably 2 seasons, perhaps even more if you look after them properly, because on the back of the Velcro, depending on how well you treat them, you don't in terms of maintenance, you would be after a game, if it's been raining or you played in muddy conditions, just use a wet damp cloth, wipe it off, take all the dirt off and just leave it to dry. Do not leave this anywhere near heat, radiators or direct sunlight, and then you'll be fine. Also, what may happen after a period of time if you don't take care of it, it may fray a little bit but that will come with age. But the beauty about that, if you just give me a moment, you can always peel these off. If you don't want to go and buy a new pair and you want to wear them like regular shin pads again,
Okay.
That's them without
the
Velcro on the back.
Velcro,
but then you just wear it as a normal shin guard underneath your socks. But then the same issue is going to happen in terms of movement during match play, and then they'll shift and move on from a tackle. Also, the beauty about this is that because of the material, right, this is so flexible, you can actually customize this. If you want to go and wear these like a traditional pair, you can cut them all off, right?
Yeah.
And basically what we would do with these is that, in essence, to keep them in shape, just have them folded up like that, right? Or if you leave them out like that, and after you pre-shape them, you leave them along, they will eventually, because there's a memory in there, they will eventually become flat again, right? So that's the shin guards itself, and as you can see from here, right, there's hardly any profile to it, right? And then also, as you can probably see, the wings, right? Why have these things got wings? They're part of the application process because it wraps around the outside of your calves, and secondly, that also protects that side of that area, because part of my R&D, I spent a year and a bit talking to the London orthopedic surgeons who obviously got a lot of medical doctors, physios, with most of all the London clubs and stuff, and they said that most of their leg breaks and calf injuries and everything comes from a side tackle in a particular spot, funny enough, which is this particular area here. As you can see, you get that tackle coming in from the side, and that's where you generally get caught. And anything in that area will and reflect it, because of the what our pad will do. It will lessen the severity of that actual hit itself. I mean, to be very frank, I mean, football being a contact sport, there is no guarantee with any product, anything on the market at the moment, that it will stop if you get hit hard enough. There is a possibility of a break or a fracture.
100%.
So our difference is that the chances with this is that we want to lessen the severity of that particular injury. Because if someone says that it can protect you from a leg break, fundamentally they're talking out of the other end.
Brilliant. And again, if like people want to know like more about the like shin pad and the other products that that you have, the website is armourflexsport.com. And at checkout, if you kind of want a 10% discount, please put in the code AFTCAT-22. And again, it's, I don't review or literally talk about products that I don't use or literally things I don't believe in.
Yeah.
So again, please go to the armourflexsport.com website